me. And at any time during my little talk here, if you have more information than I do, please feel free to jump in, raise your hand. I know I see people in the room who are working on it, Marie, and I'm going to rely on Victor Davis and knowledge of zoning. Quickly, it was announced within the month that Partners or Spalding have intentions to close the nursing home located on Fulton Street. It was announced here. Michaelowitz did announce it here, and then I believe it was the NEWRA Council who had added to the agenda for their last month's monthly meeting, and they invited or had the president of Spalding and his staff in attendance. It was in this room, very, very well-attended meeting, very emotional, and it was the first time that the community got to interact with Partners at that time. And I'm going to keep calling Partners when it's Spalding rehab. So I'll switch off, but it's the same thing right now. And since then, you've seen the Post-Gazette has taken an active role in making sure a lot of people have some information, so always pick that up. So a few things that are happening behind the scenes, which I'm going to update. And I, by no means, am the sole organizer of this. I've been working with Brett Michaelowitz, who's at the State House tonight. He is in session. They only have a few days left for formal sessions and votes, and they're going to, I think, override some of the governor's vetoes tonight. So that's what he's doing. And I know Salamatina and Senator Montgomery are going to be here tonight as well. So what they have been planning, and they've been talking to the mayor's office as well, and the mayor particularly has been involved. What we have been discussing, and I think Aaron and a few of us together, including people who, representatives of the families who have people in the nursing home. We're going to put together a steering committee over the next week or so. We're trying to keep it, because of the vast interest in this, we're trying to keep it to a reasonable, manageable number of people. And I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I think in talking to some of the elected and some of the families, like 9 to 11, a representative from this group, I think, will be invited. I think Aaron was putting the eye on Victor over there, or someone else who you guys may think.
Yes, he did invite me.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that happened, so thank you. I know the council. You accepted? Sorry. I know Marie Samboli from the North End Waterfront Neighborhood Council. Melissa Pascantilli Tizzano, whose grandmother is in there. Her grandmother is Aurora Langoni, former city councilor, Fred Langoni's wife. And so I think she'll be serving, and she may be trying to leave this. She is wasn't available tonight to come. So over the next week or so, a steering committee will be announced. And that steering committee, maybe subcommittees, so other people who have interest can join. There will be some of the subcommittees that, and this is not solidified yet because we haven't had our first meeting, is legal, some are looking at zoning, some are looking at public relations, petition gathering, which has been going on. So it's just to organize the community a little better. I think there's been a lot of angst going, obviously, with this issue. Some people have been complaining that nothing's going on, but it was a 4th of July holiday and such, so it will be coming together, and we will be announcing it. We have a Facebook page that was created called Save the North End Nursing Home, so look for that if you're on Facebook. We'll start sharing that again, people like myself and others who you know on Facebook, and that will be daily reminders. But we're relying on Phil and Pam and our good friend Matt in the back for any updates. There was a petition that was delivered to the mayor at the Waterfront Park, Christopher Columbus Park, a couple of weeks ago, and a copy of that petition was also hand delivered to Rep. Michael's. There's an additional petition which we're trying to, which is still out there, and Pam mentioned it in the front page today, and Maria's been very active, as well as a few other people, with over 1,500 names or so. I think could be over 17. The more the merrier. That we are still going out there. We're still trying to collect names. Where we focus our attention to is we're going to talk about next, but what we give that petition to is going to be vitally important. So is it the mayor who actually is on working with us, or is it the Department of Public Health or a government agency who will have some sway on what's next? And we're also going to do a letter writing campaign, and that will be talked about, and a message will be coming out of the steering committee, so to speak. Just a little, what's going on currently, because I had, I worked in politics for years, I worked as a former speaker. People say, no one's doing anything, but there are things being done. The electeds, and particularly Rep. Michaelowitz, Councilor Martina, and new Senator Joe Boncory, have had weekly meetings and discussions, and I would say daily discussions about this. Some might have been included and some might haven't. Their staffs have also been active and have met with the Department of Public Health. The mayor's office has been involved, and there's obviously different levels in the mayor's office, from Maria on up to the mayor himself. Aaron, Sal, the mayor, and Senator Boncory Joe have met with partners, more than once, and have said, made their displeasure known.
Would it be safe to say that all of those politicians are against the closing of this?
Yes. Without them, being here, I would say, yes, they're against the closing.
Including the mayor?
Including the mayor. Yes, that's my understanding. So we'll have more from his, I wish someone from his office was here, but that was my understanding. And he made, I think, a forceful presentation to the people from Partners who were in his office. So that all has been going on. I know Partners has been speaking to the families. I have several friends whose grandparents are in the facility, including Alyssa and my friends now. So I know they have reached out finally. There was part of the problem at the beginning was there was the way in which it was announced. It was done haphazardly. It was done in the Boston Business Journal, and I read that in work, but I don't know how many people whose families are in the nursing home actually read the BBJ. So there is a question about letters being signed. We haven't heard, or I or Aaron, I talked to them this morning, haven't heard that Partners is asking, having people at the nursing home sign letters. If anyone does know that, letters of intent to move. Because what they want to do, let me back up, is have people, they were purchasing a facility in Brighton. So they want to move the long-term nursing patients to Brighton, and they'll be closing the short-term rehab patients to the new facility in Charlestown. So I haven't heard that anyone has signed a letter. I don't know if anyone else has heard that. And Speaker DeLeo actually had Partners in with Aaron as well. So the Speaker's office is somewhat involved. He doesn't represent the North End, but as a friend of many of us here, and the former Speaker who was close to him, he's concerned as he had family who lived here quite a while. What's going to happen next is Partners hasn't officially filed any public document to say what their intention will be. That whatever that document, that document we file with the Department of Public Health, and that will be go through a public process, which is called the DON process for short. That's the determination of need process, and that's for all healthcare facilities in the Commonwealth, including hospitals and nursing homes and ambulatory care centers. So if you want to open one, you have to file one, but also if you want to close one. So the issue, what we don't know is will this be a closure or will this be a transfer? And that's something that Congress hasn't, obviously there's no public document to say what they're filing. I don't want to go too long, but there's a few more things. Within that DPH process, there's protections for the neighborhood. DPH most likely through conversations, I do some work with DPH and outside where I work now. They most likely this will trigger a public hearing. It's run by DPH staff, probably a program director, I think it's called. If not, it's the 10 taxpayer rule that applies here, that 10 taxpayers can request a public hearing, and DPH will have to have one on that process. The AG's office may be kind of involved, Department of Health Affairs if it's a nursing home. So we're looking into that, and that's part of what the steering committee will do, is look through the regs. I printed some of the regulations, they're online. They're called CMRs, Code of Massachusetts Regulations, and number 100, if anyone wants to Google it, look them up. They're a great reading, let me tell you, in a one day. So there is a process there, not to take up too much time. I just want to say some history for those who weren't at the hearing. I haven't read about it. The parcels, if everyone remembers, I'm a little too young to remember that. I barely remember that area than one time. I just remember it as it was designated for urban renewal under Kevin White's administration. A group of, and that is from Fulton Street down, including Faneuil Hall. We all know about the revitalization of Faneuil Hall in the area. That parcel was fought for at the same time for a nursing home as well as a health center by a group of Northern residents. It was deeded to them by the BRA with restrictions. So there's a LDA and a deed with restrictions, and we're also going to be looking at that. So that's a big part of our focus, because I'm somewhat afraid we may not be able to force partners to stay and operate. It's like telling the pizzeria chain if they want to close, no, you have to still make pizzas. A much serious level, obviously, but what happens with that facility? There was open discussions, and Aaron told me this morning, of looking for other nursing home operators. So that is on the table, but discussions with partners to stay is still on the table. And I could go on with the thing, but so the LDA is governed, that area is governed by the Downtown Waterfront Faneuil Hall Urban Renewal Plan. That was part of the extension of urban renewal that we talked about a few months ago, the 6-year extension. There's a vote in August on these certain particular parcels. Salamatina, we talked to today as well, is keeping an eye on that. If there are no changes, the BRA has been extending them. If there are any changes, that's for the City Council for a vote. But Sal is watching that carefully. But that's relatively the update. I don't know if people have a particular question.
We have time for just one or two questions, but if we have some, please. Why don't we go, David?
Is there an online version of the petition that people can click on to have their name?
That one was delivered to the mayor. I think we're going to start another one. So watch. We'll do that. I think change.org one was delivered to the mayor a couple of weeks
And
ago.
there's a website, Save the North End Nursing Home.
Well, that was on Facebook. So we're trying to organize, so a few people started like different things, so we're trying to get it all into one umbrella. That's the goal of this group.
We have a click-through on the NEWRA website, whatever, at least used to be the website. So, keep us posted and we'll put the right place.
Well, go by 61 Prince and yell Marie, and she'll come up the window.
Right. Mr. Venuti has a question.
Have you found the deed and the agreement on the transition they did? Have you looked at it?
Yeah, so...
I've got a copy of the LDA right here.
Yeah.
I know, I read it.
Courtesy of Victor.
I get it.
read it?
Sure. Well, the whole LDA?
No.
Okay.
He's gonna get it.
He's gonna get this.
I got my 10 minutes in one way or another. This is to give encouragement, because a couple of people, more than a couple, have said to me, oh, it's a done deal, it's gone. Well, let me read this. This is the the land disposition agreement that was given by the BF, that was that the developer signed with the BRA, which says, among many other things, the following. The property and the improvements shall be used for the operation of a combined nursing home / long-term elderly health care facility. Said operation shall include the provision of the following, and it lists 5 things that the recipient must do. 80 skilled nursing home beds and 60 intermediate care beds. Adult care center for at least 24 participants. Title VII nutrition program, approximately 80 meals per day. Home care program, serving approximately 70 patients, and 5 other programs for the benefit of the elderly residents of the city, as may be approved by the authority, which approval shall not be unreasonably withheld. So, with these restrictions on the property, I would say that the value of the property to partners may be increased substantially, and what they think they're going to get if they sell, perhaps they won't.
Yeah, there's restrictions as well in the renewal plan, and they have a super for me to print, where it states what the usage, conditions of usage, and it's mentioned nursing home, it also mentions assisted living, and for the benefit of seniors, so that's something we're going to be looking at as well.
And the one further thing, which will be very quick, that I want to mention is,
Very quick.
I have with me a copy of the Boston Herald, August 12, 1939, 1500 North End men and boys march on City Hall, protesting filthy conditions in the North End. The parade was led by a band, a bugle corps, American flags, and so forth. So we have a tradition. If we need to, we will march. Can we get 1,500? I don't know.
We may yet get to that point, and so it's good to know.
Not there yet.
We have a good tradition. We have many traditions in the North End.
If anyone's interested, I have a couple of copies.
So thank you very much. I think that that's it. We need to keep things moving along. I do want to say, NEWRA is planning a letter that is really on this issue of the LDA, which is a land disposition agreement. Land disposition agreements are typically used to create set-asides for affordable housing, and the argument that the BRA gave to extend the urban renewal zones was, if you extend the zones, you'll keep the LDAs, and the LDAs are what keeps affordable housing intact. If you look at the LDA that governs this parcel, it not only suggests that the parcel can only be used for a nursing home, in fact it suggests it must be used for a nursing home. And just as an operator who has a set-aside for low-income housing, if they're just thinking about the economics, they'll walk away from that. I'm not going to operate low-income housing anymore, screw it. I'm just not going to bother to even collect rent in that building, or I'm going to walk away from the project, or I'm going to sell it. Can't do that, it's illegal. They may well be, in fact, we believe it is the exact same law that is going to restrict these guys. So it may be that they cannot walk away from it, and if there's any chance that we can push that. And I have talked to Director Brian Golden of the BRA a couple of times about that. He's not accepting the argument 100% yet. Our letter is going to focus in on that. Anyone who wants to see the draft letter, I have a copy of it up here after the meeting. Come on up and take a look at it. But we are really going to push this, and we're going to push other issues as other angles, as Victor and Jason have alluded to. So a group effort, and stay tuned, everyone.